Good morning, good afternoon or good evening whenever you're watching this. I'm Autumn Blossom and welcome back to the channel. So as most of you know, Canon EOS has come to an end as it is now May, and I hope that it was successful for you, but for me it really wasn't. I failed my goal of writing every day. On top of that, I didn't hit my 50k word goal, only writing around 38,000. Yes, 38k isn't actually a bad figure for a first draft. Now that it's May and I don't have to actually focus on the work and I haven't got this goal hanging over me, it's given me time to think and realise that probably the reason I didn't hit the word count and the reason I didn't write every day was because of burnout. And that, if you haven't guessed, is what this video is going to be about. So here are some signs that you've reached creative burnout. I'm going to give you a small list and hopefully you'll be able to see some of these in yourself. Number one is procrastination, which goes hand in hand with consumption over production. I am a massive procrastinator. I've said this multiple times on this channel, and I definitely consume more when I hit a burnout. My two tell signs: I will rewatch shows that I have watched time and time again. This can be Charmed, Friends, Most Haunted. In this case, it was Kitchen Nightmares.
You are a walking disaster.
The other sign is me replaying games. Yeah, when I hit burnout, I turn to games, this time being The Last of Us.
So, is this everything you were hoping for?
And Cozy Grove. And I don't know whether or not this is all because of the escape or the whole, you know what's going to happen, you know where this is going to go, so there's no surprises and you are technically in control of it because you know where it's going. Whereas obviously with your creative process, sometimes you don't know where it's going. Number two, feeling stuck. Around this time you'll begin to fill yourself with doubt and you'll start to feel that the work that you're creating isn't worth the time of day. This is probably when you start to compare yourself to others, and I'm a big offender of this. I know that I will go onto Instagram and see other writers. None of them seem to suffer with burnout the same way I do, and it is a big fuel to my burnout system, and when it actually hits me, I do compare myself. This normally doesn't help with the next point, which is irritability, which is obviously self-explanatory. You start to get irritated, you're a lot more snappy, the smallest thing can tick you off. And once this starts to affect your creative process, it opens the door to the next point. That next point is number four, dreading work. At this point, you can't even bring yourself to be creative and you start to turn to other hobbies or to other outlets. For me, it's normally either I turn to reading or I go back and re-edit. As you've probably noticed on this channel, I do kind of go back to my first ever project, which is the Golden Shadow series, and I just edit because it is a humongous task to start a new project. And having this other project just waiting for editing is just more convenient. You have more control over it, you know where it's going, it's already written. I think I said in my last video that I wanted to go back and edit because I was losing memento and I just generally didn't want to do it anymore. And I feel like putting it up on YouTube is the best place to do this because I'm going to share with you the ups and downs of it. It's not all success. And I think that is something that should be shared. Burnout is a thing. I just go and go and go until I don't want to go anymore. Which brings me to the fifth and final point on this list, which is perfectionism. I am a perfectionist, but I'm not when I'm actually enjoying what I'm doing. At the start of Project Forged, I loved it. I wrote constantly, it was great. I didn't even think about going back. I knew I would have to. There was more issues than there were solid points, but I didn't really feel like going back on those chapters until maybe halfway through the month. Perfectionism is a writer's worst enemy. To be fair, any creative person's worst enemy. I feel like perfectionism hits people differently. For me, I have had to deal with the fact that I will never be able to spell like perfectly. I'll never be able to understand that sort of things, but because I know it's wrong and I know it's there. perfectionism is kind of on my shoulder being like, no, you need to go back and sort this, you know it's wrong, and you won't remember to fix it, or you won't realise it when you come back to it. And this perfectionism will be with you constantly, no matter whether or not you're in a burnout cycle or not, but it definitely doesn't help. And when you are getting annoyed over the fact that it's not perfect is when it's probably a burnout, not when you're just sat there going, no, I just don't like this. Now I've gone over the signs of burnout, let's go over the causes. I know that my burnouts mostly come from doing it too much and not having a rest day. So as we can tell from NaNoWriMo and my goal to write every day, it was a very bad goal, because without having these rests, I felt like I had to do them instead of wanting to do them. And writing is something I enjoy, and as soon as it becomes something I don't, I will leave it alone, because there is literally nothing in this world that is making me write. It is my own hobby, it's me, no one else. And potentially this channel, but again, no one's really keeping me here. I know that doing it every day is an issue for me, and then on top of that I have my other hobbies which I will put on the back burner whilst I focus on writing, and it is this never-ending cycle of me writing loads, stopping and doing something else, then writing loads again. But there are others, of course. So again, here's another list. Number 1, having no routine. And I've covered this time and time again on this channel, that routine is key, and I am yet to find a good routine for myself, and I'm preaching it but not listening to my own advice. I'm struggling to find the perfect balance between my dream job, my day job and my hobbies. And like I've said quite a few times in this video, I will do one thing so much and then I will drop it and do something else. So reading, for instance, this time around I've read, I think in the last week I've read about three or four books. It's shocking how much I want to lose myself in other things when I hit burnout, and it probably is part of escapism, but I know that during all this I am recuperating. I am constantly thinking about my work, but it isn't at the forefront. It is, again, I put my writing on the back burner whilst I focus on my hobbies. So with the second point on this list, it's about working too many hours. This really fits in with having no routine. Due to a lack of it, I am unable to enjoy my hobbies, like I said, and socialise with family and friends, which ends up with me burning out, because maybe FOMO is a bigger influence in my life than I thought. And to be fair, the points that I would make for this part, working too many hours, goes hand in hand with not having a writing routine, which obviously leads to the final point, which is feelings of being overwhelmed. Ultimately, creating anything in the beginning is a daunting task, and you can quickly become overwhelmed by the colossal amount of work you have to do. And even if you have an idea of where your work's going, you can find yourself lost and confused because potentially it's gone slightly off course. You just need to learn to trust the process with writing, and for me, I learn the characters as I'm writing them. I have an idea of who they're going to be, but as I'm writing I realise, no, this character wouldn't do this, no, this character wouldn't do that, and that's where I guess the doubt starts to come in, and I'll start to doubt whether or not I'm writing a good enough character, or if I'm actually good at writing romance, for instance, or developing friendships. Especially with this one, I have struggled with the whole realness to it, because she's come from modern day London and she's now found herself in this fantasy world, and she's there like, I don't believe you. And that is the issue. I'm trying to give my character the most realistic reaction possible in a scenario that is really not realistic at all. And I think that maybe this is where I started to feel overwhelmed, because I felt like my character just got over things. And having this feeling of being overwhelmed can be a massive blow to your self-confidence. You will start to doubt yourself completely. You'll feel like you knew where you were going and you find out that you didn't. That is something that I deal with, and probably a lot of other people do too. With all this in mind, I'm able to notice when I'm about to hit burnout, and it gives me a chance to take a step back and relax. But sometimes that's not always possible. Sometimes I'm too far gone and I've just got to ride that wave until I'm ready to get back on the theoretical horse. So there are a few things that I do to help myself get out of the slump, or to even deal with the aftermath of the burnout. The following points that I'm going to show you and speak about I found on Brandlink Media. The article, definitely, that article is linked below if you want to check it out. But here are a couple of the points that I felt worked for me, and some that I'm interested in actually trying, when I burn out eventually again. Number 1, clearing your workspace. Currently I don't have one. These plants behind me is where my desk's going to be. Keeping a clean work area, be it your bedroom, a desk, or a coffee table, keep it clean. The second point that I found quite amusing was mind your own business. Again, going back on my point, don't put yourself up against other people. Work in your own space at your own time. There's always someone who's going to be better than you, and there's always going to be someone who's worse than you. Don't put yourself up against them, because it's not a competition. There are plenty of authors out there who have been published and you will read their work and wonder why they were. You don't have to put that pressure on you. You can publish yourself through Amazon. As much as I'm saying this, I know that it's stupid and it's human nature to compare yourself, but try not to be as hard of a critic on yourself as you can be. Another is chill out. If you're stressed, just stop. Don't put yourself in a situation where you have to continue to be stressed. But I don't know, we have this strange logic where we have to work, and even if we're stressed, it doesn't matter. Like, us being stressed is normal and is something that you should have in your life, and it isn't. It's like when people feel guilty for taking their holiday that they're entitled to at work. You're entitled to it. You need that time off, so have it. This comes from a point of privilege where I can just do that. I don't have deadlines. I haven't got an editor. I'm so far from being published that I feel like I can't consider myself a writer. But even then, if it's stressing you out, go for a walk. It doesn't have to be weeks. It can just be 5 hours. It could be a day. Have a nice bath. Do something. Treat yourself to something. I feel like this tip works with any creative media, be it painting, drawing, writing, anything. If you can't focus because you are tired or you feel overwhelmed, take a break. It's okay. The final point that I want to make is to find quality time for your family and friends. This is something that I feel like I'm going to have to work around, because poor Adam has to deal with me going through my burnouts constantly. I force him to work around me, basically. But also my family, I don't spend time with them because I'm writing or I'm making videos, and it comes in with the routine. But having just a coffee with a friend, or going for a meal with your partner, or playing a board game with your siblings, it's just those small 10-minute, 20-minute things helps you reset. You can stop thinking about the thing that you've been trying to perfect, the thing that's been bugging you, the thing that's making you feel so tired for however long this moment lasts. It may be small, but it definitely would help in the long term. At the end of the day, creative burnout's going to affect us all, and it will raise its ugly head multiple times in your lifetime. This one is not my last one, and I know that I will probably not take these signs into account, but I feel like secretly down deep, you know when you're about to hit burnout, you know when you're tired. It's just about listening to your body and understanding why you feel that way. Burnout is something that's unavoidable, but being able to notice when it's going to happen or when it's happening and understand what you need to do to either prevent or deal with it is key. As long as you're not too hard on yourself, you'll come out the other end. Your mental health is far more important than your job, whatever it is. So please share your advice and experiences down below. I'm really interested to see how others deal with burnout, and any support or advice you can give to anyone, including myself, would be greatly appreciated. But anyway, thanks for watching. If you like what you're seeing, leave a like and a comment down below. Don't forget to hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.